It's our time. Which one's Susan? My mum said once on the school bus to this bully girl. I've had a lot of bullying. How about you? And really, I consider it. I didn't consider it as bullying. Certainly we don't often in adulthood, when you get the sense that you shouldn't be you. And abusive relationships. Which one's Susan? She said. What a bitch. Honestly, she was scary, that girl. And then there was another one. And another and another. And I had a little brother. So what I didn't want was, when he was on the bus, is him seeing that I wasn't safe. Because my job was to keep him safe. So I learned how to talk to people. However, this may be useful to you if you're feeling hurt, intimidated, stuck, depressed, worse. Careful. What's curious is when you consider your internal voice, how you talk to you. I still get bullied, and mercilessly, and that's the word. So yesterday, it was a 2-minute video yesterday about the dogs in the park, and you beautiful lady said to me, I know what this post isn't about this, however, I wonder if you've been in an abusive relationship, and essentially how do you overcome it? It's all the same stuff, folks. We fear being seen. I'm a psychotherapist. My name's Poppy. I'm a psychologist and coach. 30 years I've been working with people. I self-regulate. That's a long story. However, for the purposes of now, my name's Poppy. Hello. How do you talk to you? Because, yeah, I still get a lot of attack. Not from public, interestingly. If I do, it's a flipping healer. It's from big institutional staff who don't like the fact sometimes that I don't do boxes. Never been good at that. How about you? You know, when you press yourself and it's like, don't be that, don't be that, don't be that, don't do that. Don't think that, and certainly don't say that. In fact, don't look that way. Don't show up. Don't question it. Wow. I was in Australia once. When was that? Flipping a million years ago. 20 years ago. And I thought I was tough. And a lot of people said, oh, Australia, there was an agenda here. However, a lot of people said that we've got these big spitters and all the things. And it was only there, and it wasn't about Australia. However, there was triggers there. I realised I'm afraid of everything. And I thought I was tough. I'm afraid to get my hair wet. I'm afraid of someone not liking me. I'm afraid of being too fat. I'm afraid of being me. And it all came to me in one big swoop of, oh, you think you're tough. You're scared of everything. And it blew me away. And I thought, bloody hell, yeah. That's why I'm bulimic and mad and bad and broke and psychotic and all the things. I'm fucking scared. So I started paying attention to how I talk to myself. Or scaring myself on repeat. Can't think that. Even I would have like, well, look at this. See that little kink? I'm not kidding. You put your stuff in the chat, please. See that little kink there? Right? If that was, because I have very curly hair. This isn't even the half of it. So I used to straighten my hair to be perfect. And if I had had that kink, oh, I'd have been in a spiral of thought, oh my God, how am I going to get it straight, I mean, good Lord. And it's nothing about the flipping hair. It's about, I gotta have some control and some predictability over life. Otherwise, anything can get me. I'm a walking target. And of course, that's what bullies look for. That's what they say when you interview people about why they attack mercilessly. Why people do heinous crimes against other people. The consensus is we can feel they will not fight back. I've always fought back pretty well. However, I've faked it most of my life. Until more recently, it was somewhat after the time in Australia where I thought, oh yeah, I'm the biggest demon in my flipping life. So if you're getting bullied, my love, it comes with the territory on planet Earth, A. That doesn't excuse it. However, maybe it can normalise it a little bit. You're not on your own. And I would take it always as a backward compliment. This is not to just intellectualise your way through this, because it's way more complicated. However, a compliment meaning people get very activated when they see something they feel they cannot be, shouldn't be, and so on. And it's often vulnerability in some kind of way. That you're being different, that you're shining a light on the possibility of having an edge of whatever sort. And a lot of people will get triggered that ding-a-ling-ling, a bell goes that you can't be that. I can't be that, so you can't be that. And they'll attack it. So it's a backward compliment a lot of the time. It's also to do with the fact people can feel, if you're harsh with you, they take a cue from your energy. People can sniff it out. Behaviour is a language of its own. You can talk, people feel the feelings. Pop a 7 in the chat if you would agree with that, is you can energetically interpret the sort of footnotes, even if they're not clear. If I'm saying blah, blah, blah to you, however, you're sensing something else is going. You know there's another bit of the story, it's just not speaking to it. You know people like that. Who's like, hello, remember, and you know that there's something. In fact, you know, because you do it, right? I see you. Behaviour is a language of its own. And if you're going to live a courageous, truthful life, it's going to stir some stuff. Because very sadly, there's a lot of threat on this planet. A lot of it. A lot of fear. A lot of shame. A great deal of association with attention and shame. If I pay attention to you, what am I going to see? We don't celebrate the idea that we might see each other. Oh my God, we get to see each other. It's not like that, sadly. However, one thing will happen with bullying is when you understand and can care for, I'm still learning, yourself, people will cease to be able to manipulate you, get inside your head. For long anyway. Because it doesn't stick. Because you don't believe it. The only reason we get stirred up and wounded is if we believe what someone's saying. Fundamentally, that's what trigger is. Pointing a finger at where we get to heal. So it may well be that you might be, an inspiration, a warning, a bit like me. An activator, what's that called? A disruptor. A loving interruption to the craziness. In which case, yeah, a lot of people will try and take you out in some kind of way. However, it's only where you're attacking you on loop where it's going to hurt. The rest of the time we can learn that people are scared. It's love or fear. If someone's doing something that doesn't feel nice, they're being loving. If not, they're in fear too. We're just frightened little people walking around the planet, doing whatever it is we can do to cope, to get by. So, like with yesterday, what I would say is, let's be kind. Check in with yourself, how you talk to you. How you might judge you for feeling whatever. I don't like the background because I'm a princess and good. Get to be one. Haha, that's better. That's the point. Is no disrespect to the property. Is it? Well, whatever, you understand. We have choices. And just in that little teeny weeny space, very different reality, very different energy, very different feel. There is concrete. Here is nature. It's that simple, really. You can make a shift super quick into a different reality. However, you're in charge of that one, my love. So am I. We've got a choice point at any point. However, it's much easier life with compassion, and I know that sometimes that's unfamiliar, particularly when you drive yourself with judgment. However, the question would be, has that worked for you well so far? What have been the costs of that? And who's still suffering because you don't love you yet? You get to love you, my love. And the first thing we need to do is to start paying attention to how we roll in here, to dress who we are and how we think and how we be and so on. And love comes later. Look at the clouds. Wow. How bizarre is that? I don't think I've ever seen that before. You geographers, what kind of clouds are those? Anyway, let's tread gently. Many of us are afraid, and we're looking for some kind of tenderness, even if we don't dare believe it's there. So perhaps as we go around the place, assume innocence when you see people, shoot them a look, send them love, wish them happiness, and whatever they do with it is on them. You get to protect you. What I do sometimes as I'm walking around, if I can feel this kind of demonic pain energy from people, which we have sometimes, is I'll go, force fields up, like there's this egg around me and the dog, which is to send that person love and light. They're hurting, it's not personal, it doesn't need to trigger us. And if it does trigger us, we just get to go, what am I thinking and what am I feeling and what do I need to help me soothe in this moment? Because something's made a rub for a wound that's there, and rather than smoke it away, think it away, push it away, analyse it away, busy it away, help people please it away stuff, is we can just check in like you're a frightened little kid and you get to just to attend to you. Okay, hang on, what do I need to stretch out? Meet the world with your heart. Remind yourself you're grown up now, you're safe. And if you'd like to ace this, or at least learn what I know, Thrive Boundaries Mastery is here for you. It's in the top here, in the link. Take it with my love. Nearly £300 it was. Now it is, you access it at the fee that you want to pay for it. See you soon.